Maria, technical consultant here at Optimise Engineering. My work focuses on supporting organizations across the full IBM engineering lifecycle management ELM journey, all the way from the early tool evaluation and trials right through to deployment and the ongoing technical consultancy that helps teams not only strengthen their tool usage but their wider systems engineering practices as well. And before I joined Optimize, I worked as a systems engineer on major infrastructure and nuclear projects where I was the end user of both Doors Classic and Doors Next for requirements and V&V activities. So I'm really excited to be part of this podcast and to share some insights from the work we do here every day.
Yeah, I'm Matt Hirschfield, senior consultant here at Optimise Engineering. As Maria said there, we work within the IBM ecosystem, working to support customers, right from the very first sort of interest in the tools right the way through to use and growth basically. My background very similar to Maria's in a sense of I started off on the other side of the barrier as a DAWS classic user, ELM user and administrator, and then I joined the Optimise team around about 2021, taking that sort of knowledge and expertise over into our customer base basically. So yeah, I think we sort of position ourselves as a value add basically. So it's not just about selling the licenses and running away. It's about being part of that entire journey with the ELM tools. Right from the start, right the way to the end, basically. Altogether, we've worked on the tools for many years. The background of the team was actually starting to use the tools themselves, much like myself and Maria, in the way that we became part of the ecosystem. Started as tool users, became tool experts, and then developed those into skills that they could offer out as services, basically, to other customers, to other IBM customers, basically. Our sort of capabilities around the ELM tools, pre-sales engagements, helping clients to select the right capabilities to suit their needs, tool deployment, as we've mentioned. Also, not just about deploying the tools and leaving it there, but also about increasing the growth and expanding the capability of the tools that they've got in their sites, as well as their systems engineering sort of maturity and profile increases with use, basically. We As well as that, we also deliver the tool training. So, we'll deliver on-site training for the tools, also systems engineering training as well. At the core of our business is systems engineering and as a consultancy as well, basically. So our goal is to sort of help the clients see the benefits of the tools as quickly as possible, alongside best practice, basically.
Yeah, so when we talk about IBM ELM, we're talking about a family of tools that covers the full engineering lifecycle. All of those tools, they sit on a one common platform. So that means that the requirements, the work management, the tests, and the system models can all be connected and fully traceable. But at the same time, this platform is modular, so organizations can start with just the pieces that they need. So, for example, you can only the requirements management or only the test management and scale up over time. The core components are IBM Doors Next, as said, which is the requirements management and the compliance backbone, the IBM Engineering Workflow Management, the EWM, and that's for planning, for work tracking, for source control, and IBM Engineering Test Management, ETM, for test planning, execution, and quality assurance. And for organizations working with complex systems, IBM Rhapsody provides model-based systems engineering. And importantly, those Rhapsody models can be linked directly into the artifacts in Doors Next or EWM or ETM, creating this full digital thread from the requirements to the system design to test. In terms of demand, the tool we see the most inquiries for is clearly Doors Next. Requirements are the starting point for everything, and organizations are under increasing pressure to manage complexity, to maintain end-to-end traceability and meet compliance obligations. So Doors Next gives them that centralized collaborative environment to control the requirements, to manage the change and connect them to the downstream activities. But in fact, the real strength comes from the integrated modular platform. So with EWM, when organizations can link the requirements to plans, to task, and source code, with ETM and Rhapsody as well. So because ELM is built on the OSLC open standard, it can also connect to other tools in the customer's ecosystem. Even outside IBM. So this means organizations can create like a single connected lifecycle that's flexible, scalable, and future ready. So yeah, while Doors Next drives the highest demand, it's the full ELM family of tools working together on one platform that ultimately helps organizations reduce the risk, improve quality, and deliver complex products faster.
So, through our consultancy services, we engage with organisations of all sizes to help align systems engineering best practices with existing processes the organisations may already have in place. It's not a one size fits all. Everybody, every organisation is different. Every organisation's needs of the tools are slightly different, and the tools themselves, as some people may know, are highly configurable and can be tailored to suit the business needs, basically. In terms of adopting IBM tools, I mean, we believe in like a what we call our 3P approach, which focuses on people, process, and products. And that basically, the core of that is centering around the tool stakeholders and the project stakeholders, basically, and making sure that everybody understands what the capabilities of the tools are, they understand the benefits of adopting the tools, and also that systems engineering approach, basically, or that systems engineering approach, like I say. We develop, part of our, I use the phrase value add, but what we do on a daily basis is we try to develop close relationships with our customers. We want to be part of their journey, as we mentioned before, and that really helps us to sort of understand or develop or evolve the journey that customer, that organisation is on with the tools and their approach to systems engineering. So we're always there to offer the support. We're always there to offer the advice around how to configure the tools as well. As well as that more formal sort of way of adoption. For the training. We're always at the end of a phone or an email. There's a question. We jump at the chance to support organisations. And as I say, our consultancy services, they are delivered to suit the business needs as well. We can deliver on a ad hoc basis, as I say, or we can do more of a structured roadmap approach to sort of supporting organisations.
Across the industries we work with, the specific of each sector might be different, but the core challenges are very similar because, every organization is managing increasingly complex systems, distributed teams, and there is a need for a full lifecycle visibility. Where the industries are different is in the context. Like, for example, aerospace and defense often work in like highly regulated environments where certification heavy processes. Another example, automotive and rail focus on like scale and speed, managing multiple suppliers and large software heavy systems. But across all those sectors, teams need the same foundational capabilities. They need robust requirements, they need change management, they need integrated testing, and like traceability across the life cycle overall. So these are the exactly pain points that we help solve with IBM ELM. Organizations often struggle with disconnected tools and teams, managing complexity, across hardware, software, and models, and overall demonstrating compliance and traceability in a clear, auditable way. So that's ELM family of tools directly addresses those challenges, Doors Next provides the centralized requirements management and traceability. AWM connects the plans, as I was saying earlier. ATM links the testing, and Rhapsody supports the model-based systems engineering. So, yeah, again, as I said, while the specific priorities vary by sector, the underlying need is the same: to manage complexity, to reduce risk, and deliver safe, compliant, and innovative products. So that's exactly what ELM helps organizations do.
Optimise 3P is our managed service offering for the IBM engineering tools. During initial engagement with a customer, we work with them to define what their goals are and needs are from the software tooling perspective, such as selecting the right number of licenses, the right capabilities. We scope out the size of the deployment, we provide the IT infrastructure as well as the sort of factoring the ongoing management of the services to support the delivery of updates and fixed packs as well. So that is sort of a core function of our managed service. It sits somewhere in between IBM's SaaS offering in terms of the speed and approach of getting people into the tools and using it, but it also gives organisations the option of a slightly more flexible licensing model in terms of being able to access perpetual licensing and token licensing, but it also, most importantly, sort of gives organisations the scope to integrate their ELM data with a wider sort of set of data within their business, basically. So, we have conversations quite a lot around, connecting ELM to ALM applications or PLM applications. So, our managed service can provide that sort of functionality where within IBM SaaS it's slightly more difficult to do that, and in some respects it can be sort of cost prohibitive, if you like. It's not just about deploying the tools in an environment and letting people get on with it, as we mentioned before. Our managed service also sort of gives us a really good way of working with customers on that journey, getting them up to speed with the tools, making sure they're accessing the right capability, making sure they're on a good roadmap or a good sort of path to maturity, and they're getting the best return on investment for those tools and that investment, basically.
So when we deliver IBM ELM to a customer, we don't just treat it as a software rollout. We actually believe that real success comes from balancing the three pillars, what we call the people, product, process, that Matt already introduced it to you. So first, what we mean by product is the ELM tools themselves, the requirements management, the workflow, the test management, and the MBSE. We make sure the configuration, the licensing, the hosting, or cloud setup matches the customer's needs. They are scaled appropriately for the size and complexity of the organization. Second, we've got the process. So this is where our systems engineering consultancy comes into play. We work with customers to define or optimize their engineering lifecycle processes, how requirements are authored and managed, how the work flows through design and development, how tests are planned and executed, and so on. So what we do, we embed those best practices from systems engineering, so organizations don't just have the tools, but they have a repeatable, governed way of working that basically reduces the risk and increases efficiency. And third, and most importantly, we've got the people. So tools and processes are useless without people who know how to use them correctly and what to do with them. So that's why we provide comprehensive training, we provide ongoing support and coaching, and we deliver a lot of hands-on courses. So we help teams build systems engineering competency and support them throughout their journey. As Matt already said, at Optimise Engineering, we call this the 3P approach, and this is exactly what powers sustainable long-term value from ELM. We don't just install the software, but we partner with our customers to build the right environment, the right architecture, and the right workflow, and a team that's confident and capable. So when the product, the process, and the people all align, ELM tool, it just doesn't sit idle there in a corner. They become a digital engine that delivers clarity, delivers traceability, collaboration, as well as compliance, and ultimately it helps organizations deliver complex, high quality products with confidence.
Increasingly, organisations are seeing the benefits of having that connectivity of data across the entire product life cycle. I know from personal experience when I first became part of the toolscape, if you like, and started using the tools, it was very much siloed. You did your requirements management, you did test management, and then it went off and got built. The product got built or the product got delivered. It seems like every other day we're talking to customers, both new and existing, about how they can connect that conceptual design data that has been traditionally stored in MBSE, in the MBSE domain, in requirements and that test stuff, with you know the long term sort of product life cycle, if you like. So once products are delivered, how do we connect that data from ELM to PLM? How do we get the models, 3D models that are connected up as well? So all of this sort of what's the word? What all of this? I'm not. I don't want to say trend, but the movement towards this digital transformation and this having a fully linked up schema of data and information from concept through to retirement, which is what systems engineering is all about. It's really sort of driving the need for the tools, and it's driving for for those capabilities such as the OSLC, being able to link out those IBM tools into a wider sort of product domain, if you like. This information, these conversations that we're having with our customers, going to events and things, it's not just from a specific industry, it's across all industries now. So this sort of drive for this digital engineering and this digital transformation is it's asking more of the tools, and I think in response to that, IBM are providing regular feature drops, more development of the tools as well to meet things like AI capabilities. That's the big hot topic at the moment. We have discussions with some organisations where they want those AI capabilities straight away. They want to take advantage of that. The efficiencies that can bring, or the speed at which where it can be delivered, basically. But we've also got organisations who are very shy and very sort of guarded about how that AI is adopted within their organisation, and rightly so. Some of the organisations we work with are they've got to maintain that security around the data, security around the intellectual property as well, and working with every part of that. When we're talking about our sort of sphere of our organisation, the way we deal with people, it's nice to see the ELM tools, things like the ELM tools being in all of those domains and being a part of those conversations. And certainly all these developments that it's driving a need for the tools, and it's driving sort of development of the tools as well, which obviously shows a great future for systems engineering, the IBM tools as well, and most importantly from our perspective, Optimise Engineering as well. I think we've touched on quite a bit already during the conversation about about 3P, if you like. But as an organisation who work with teams of different engineering spaces, different product types as well. So it's not just large scale infrastructure; it's volume manufacturing as well. It's delivering services as well. It's always interesting to see that there are different adoption techniques, I guess, within different organisations. We always we some organisations will opt for a more organic drive towards the tool, so they'll buy the tools, start to slowly bring people into using the tools, whereas others prefer a much more regimented and structured approach. So a framework and a road mapped out tool adoption. Personally, I believe that the critical factors to success, and it's part of the mantra of the business, is that people, that process, and the products. Organisations can buy the tools. Some of them do take a nice gently approach to adoption, but it's, as every organisation is different. The process. Having people trained up and understand, what the systems engineering process is, and then having the tools configured, or even their own processes configured to suit the way the tools work. Sometimes it's not always a great fit for people, but the configurability is there. It's all about making sure that the both the tools and the processes are working together to ensure that the organisational business strategies and business mission objectives are achieved, basically. And the products support that, really. I guess just to add to that, ensuring that people are upskilled, they know what they're doing not just with the systems engineering, but also they know what to do with the tools. For me, that's the first step. You get them to the point where the tools aren't scary anymore, because engineers are really when you're working in the engineering domain, engineers are very they know what they're doing. They don't like anybody coming in and saying you're doing it wrong. It's and also it's about change as well, and accepting that if an organisation comes to us, it's because they've got a need and a drive for change within that organisation. Some people get scared of that, and it's about it's putting an arm around them and saying, well, actually, this is how you do it in the tools. The tools can be configured to suit the way you're used to working, if you like. But let's put some structure upon that. Let's put some processes and put some configuration in the background, which means that you are definitely following the same process. It's repeatable. You're delivering the same product or the same quality of product each time you run the projects, basically. And basically, those strong relationships that we talked about building with the teams, it helps those people to become part of the journey with the tools. It helps them to understand what the needs are and what the drive is within the business for doing that, and that can sometimes break down barriers as well. So when you say what differentiates a good engineering implementation over a great one, a good one is a set of tools that are used by a subset of people. Maybe not adopted across the full organisation as much as we would like, but a great one is where you're seeing seeing ELM being used at the forefront of the design and the development processes, and the redevelopment processes as well. So things like those, the interface into the dashboarding, use it, and having design reviews where you are working within the tool rather than working on spreadsheets and Word documents, that kind of thing. That's what we strive to, and that's what digital engineering is all about, and that digital transformation. And that's what we all want. Those great implementations are where everyone's working on the tools, and everyone's got an idea of what they're developing and when, basically.
I would say if someone is just starting to consider IBM ELM and working with an IBM business partner, my first piece of advice is to choose a partner with proven experience, not just software knowledge. To look for a partner who understands both the tools and the engineering challenges in the industry, who can bring practical insights into the complex engineering lifecycle and the processes, and who's like a partner who has a track record of helping organizations to adopt ELM successfully. Next, to set clear expectations from the very start. Don't treat this as a software install. ELM is an ecosystem, and its value comes from connecting the people, connecting the processes, and connecting the tools. Define upfront what success looks like. From example, that might be improved traceability, or it might be faster delivery, or it can even be better collaboration. And be realistic about the timelines, and build in support for training, for change management, and why not for process optimization. And I think finally, the focus should also be on maximizing value from day one. So start with the areas of highest impact. Often, we find that that's the requirements management or test management, and leverage a framework like our 3P approach that we've discussed on so many questions in this podcast. So I think by combining the right partner, having clear expectations, and a structured approach to adoption, organizations can quickly unlock the full potential of IBM ELM. It's not just having a software in place, but you'll have this connected, traceable, and efficient engineering lifecycle that helps you drive quality, compliance, and innovation from the very start.